right, 1 second. It's taking me forever to load this.
I thought you were in the other room.
Hold on.
What are
I
you
don't know why it took
doing?
me so long to load all the stuff. Whoops. Episode 223. We're back. Illini Basketball Podcast, episode 223. I already said that. October 10th, 2024. Could be a quick one. Let's be honest. It's going to be a quick one. I think we had to, a little bit of Big Ten Media Day stuff, a little bit of Underwood talking with people. Get to that a little bit. And another commitment to discuss briefly. And then some other stuff. But, people shouldn't expect hour, especially with what we're going to drop at the end of this episode. I mean,
yeah,
nobody needs an hour right now. Just a little,
Sure.
That's
David
me
wants
excusing.
us to do an hour because he has all kinds of stuff down. So, David, what's going on? What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? We are getting Illinois basketball this month, an exhibition game. But what day is that?
3 weeks, October 27th.
Less than 3 weeks. What's going on, Tommy? All right. Yeah, Brad Underwood, Big Ten Media Days. He was joined with Kylan Boswell and Ty Rogers. I did not write down anything from them. They played bingo, though, or something, I guess. So good for them. Did you watch any of the interviews?
No.
What are you doing? Working these days or something?
Hate to say that I didn't. I'm struggling to get into college basketball mode for some reason, even though it's already October. I don't know why.
Yeah, you're looking forward to that Oregon-Ohio State game, aren't you? That's
hammer the Buckeyes, folks. Hammer.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a loser mentality, but all right.
I just don't think Oregon's got it yet.
What's the spread on that game?
2.5 moved to 3. Ohio State -3, I think. Should be like 9. Should be like triple. Ohio State -9.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be 27-10 Ohio State.
Okay.
So the spread really 16.5 alternate. Bet that.
Okay. Sounds great. I got a few things here from the media days from Brad. He gave his overall thoughts on the team. He said, quote, positional size and shooting, 2 things I really tried to define in the portal. Seems like that's Brad's big thing all the time. So he said, we lost a lot. There's no doubt about that. We've got a good mix of freshmen with a nice group of transfers and got some veterans in Kylan Boswell. Didn't mention anybody else, but okay. We have a guy in Ty Rogers back. Those guys are going to lead us early. Ty Rogers, Kylan Boswell starting. Kasparis on the bench to start, you think? Who knows? Very talented group. I like the group in terms of their ability, but building on chemistry and something that we're going to have to work on moving forward. Does that scare you at all, the team chemistry thing? Because we went through that with your boys' team back when he was around. What was that guy's name? I forgot him.
I mean,
Mr. Monster Myers.
Relax. Every team goes through that, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes more exaggerated than others. And when you have an entirely new roster with 2 returning players, it's going to happen, especially with the number of freshmen. You have a lot of guys trying to go from one level to another, some going from one country to another. And it's not really a level for those guys. It's more so style of play and country, which thought Kevin Sweeney had an interesting tweet. Is that his name? Kevin Sweeney?
That sounds right.
Interesting tweet about our guy Yegor that went to BYU as well as Kasparis. Let's see if I can pull that up for the people at home who may have missed this excellent tweet by the guy's name that I just said.
I think I must have missed that.
I retweeted it, so I'm surprised that not everybody on the app saw it. Hold on a moment here, folks. 1 second. Here we go.
Good stuff.
I wasn't prepared to bring that up, but I did, so it's on me. There we go. This is a video of Yegor at the BYU scrimmage. He had 12, 9, and 8. Kevin Sweeney, for those listening and not watching, he said, been a lot of narrative pushing by people not familiar with international ball. Yegor, Kasparis, Jacques Jonas, etc. are higher level overseas prospects than prospects is the word I was looking for there, than we basically ever see play college basketball. No one is bust proof, but I'll bet on those guys being very, very good. So essentially he's saying that these are the types of guys that you see get drafted, like the Chicago Bulls drafting Buzelis this year,
Right.
or Riz Ahmed going number 1 to Atlanta. Like those are guys who usually stay international and then go to the NBA. But I think NIL, if they can get an NIL, which I don't understand all of that.
Yeah, because didn't Zach Edey get nothing supposedly?
I mean, he's from Canada. It's a third world country. I don't know, but obviously BYU had to do something for Yegor to get him to go there, and Illinois had to do something for Kasparis to get him to come here. So,
I would think, yeah.
I mean, international basketball, just by watching some of Tomislav for the short-lived Patreon video that I did, that level of play is interesting to watch. It's different, and the guys that play, you can't be a forward or a center in international basketball not be like very skilled, very fundamental, very technically sound, which I think he is. You remember the video, the 7th grade defense video with the scrimmage that they posted over the weekend? Tomislav hits the 3 pretty early in that video, so he's got skill.
Yeah, I think that Brad said that Tomislav, I think it's later in the John Rothstein thing that he went like 5 of 7 in a scrimmage or something. So, yeah, and I mean, those guys start playing pro basketball at 16, 17 over there too, which I think makes a big difference. I mean, you can say, yeah, it's European basketball, but it's still pro level basketball. So
there's a lot of pressure on this staff to make it work because the talent's there. You have to put the pieces in the right spots. Like, I don't think you can have Kasparis not start like right away. I would be very disappointed if he didn't start right away.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking. I mean, all this Brad's really big on Trey White, which we'll get into a little bit later. But it'll be interesting to see what he does. He talks to John Rothstein a little bit about, how deep they can go and stuff. But Brad did say about the freshmen, he said, quote, "I have a group of three freshmen that I'm very excited about to see their growth. They're probably the most talented freshmen that we've had on our campus. So we'll see. I think all those guys have an opportunity to really affect our play." ESPN put out their, top 100 prospects for the NBA. And I believe Will Riley was like 22 and Kasparis was 15 or something like that. So, Joe Jackson had a thing on Twitter. Illinois is the youngest team in the Big Ten this year. And we heard, was it 2 years ago? I think it was that same chemistry team that's all Brad talked about was how young they were, right? But he did. I mean, I'm just saying.
Was that team?
I don't know if Brad. Do you think we hear that from Brad this year about how young they are?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I mean, in a negative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he going to say this team has no leadership?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's just think about this. Average D1 experience on the 2022-2023 team, according to KenPom.com. Future friend of the show. He'll be on in a couple of months, no doubt. I guarantee it. Not really. 293rd in the country in D1 experience in 2022-23. That was, of course, Shannon, Meyer, Epps, Danger, Hawkins, Clark. And a lot of the inexperience comes from Epps, a freshman, Danger, a sophomore, Clark, a freshman, Melendez, a sophomore, Rogers, Harris, Goody, all young. 293rd, 1.35 years average D1 experience. Last season was a complete difference, obviously. They were 11th. They had 3.11 years of experience. So with this team, it's probably going to be in between. I don't think it's going to be quite as – it'll be close. I don't think it'll be quite as I don't think they'll be 293rd. I think they'll be in the 200s, but maybe not 293rd because you got to think about Boswell has 2 years. White has 2 years. Rogers is junior. What's his face who's on the team? Humrickhouse has D1 experience. He's got 1 year, I guess. So that'll, affect that number. They'll definitely be in the ones and the 200s, maybe 300. I don't know. I'm not looking for excuses about how young this team is this year. I don't want to hear that. If I hear that, it's not going to be good for the listeners. They're going to be annoyed at me probably, which I hope they are. I want them to be.
Yeah. Along with that, Joe Jackson made a point. Illinois, Purdue, Michigan State, and Rutgers are the 4 youngest teams. And 3 of those teams are predicted to be, top 5. Rutgers is up there in that 5, 3 to 5, 7 spot. So it's pretty interesting to me that the younger teams seem to be projected better this year when everybody says age is a factor. Again, the average age is 20, and then the oldest team is Minnesota it's 22.3. So there's 12 other teams that are 21 and older average, which I don't know. I mean, does a year matter that much? I don't know. I guess it depends on how good they are and how much they've played D1 basketball, like you said. So, but Brad was asked about making it to the Elite Eight. He said, basically it's a good step. He talked about how it probably meant more to the fans that Brad actually took that step and got to the Elite Eight. He believed that Illinois was a Final Four team. They just ran into UConn and got demolished. He thinks, obviously, if UConn isn't in their bracket, they make it to the Final Four. So
not true. They would have gotten smoked by yeah. Okay, let me name the 3 teams they would have played scenario if they were 2. Alabama. I don't know if they would have beaten them. It would have been maybe 100 to 97 or something. Would have been close. Purdue. Yeah. We've seen that movie. Duke would have smoked Duke, I think. They're way better than Duke last year.
Yeah,
way better. They both got to the Elite Eight and one embarrassed themselves against an 11 seed with a fat center with a lot of skill. DJ Burns, shout out to him. But no, I'm not going to get too literal about it. Yeah, they were a Final Four level team. I mean, they beat the other 2 seed in their bracket, Iowa State, who, by the way, is it discussed enough that when we did the selection show, all these Illini fans were so scared of Iowa State and BYU? Come on.
It's true.
Come on. We didn't. I don't think we were caving.
Yeah.
We were like, bring them on. Are you kidding me? BYU? We're going to lose to a bunch of whites from Utah? Come on. Illinois would have beaten BYU by 100. Illinois completely embarrassed the team that beat BYU. Like that Illinois against Duquesne looked like D1 against D2. It just did.
Yeah. I think that's just Illinois fan mentality. I mean, we've been hurt so much, damaged over the years so much. So
yeah, and yeah, I mean, I really Jeffrey's comment I do want to talk about. Shocker, he's a Vikings fan. I'm stunned to hear that. A swing and a miss. They're literally the worst type of fan you could be by outside the Bears. But anyway.
Okay, Packers fan. Jeez.
I'm sorry. I like, well-run organizations, which Minnesota kind of is, but they don't ever win anything. Anyway, I do like this question, though, or I do like this comment.
Jeffrey said,
he's 1 for 1 tonight.
Did you say Brad was high on Trey White? On a talent level, I don't think he's anything special. Can you guys rank guys by talent on this team, best to worst? Ooh, that's going to be tough. I think
I'll do it right now.
Okay,
I'll do it right now. We'll do it right now. And he made 2 mistakes in his next comment. Anyway, number 1. Let me just write it down real quick, and you talk to people while I write it down.
Okay. I'll put this out there about Brad talks about the new roster. And I think that he said this before. He talks about his junior college days and how you brought in 10 new guys every year. He said that they still want to play fast, but they're definitely going to have to tweak some things. He said this group is different, and we've been very, very specific in positional size and who can shoot it. And those things that we are continuing to look for to keep trying to find mismatches and advantages as easily as we can. So, I mean, I think we're going to see, some booty ball with guys too. Hummerkaus, they put out a 4-minute video of Illinois offense, basically. I didn't find it in anything, but I'm pretty sure that Brad said that 7th graders could beat their defense, which kind of scares me. So, hopefully Brad can get the defense better. Has Brad had a good defensive team since like the Io Kofi team that was the number 1 seed? I don't think he's had a good defense at all besides that team.
I can run the efficiency numbers if you want.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, buddy. I know you're busy writing stuff down on your notebook. So
Their best efficiency defense was 7th in 2021. They were 29th in 2022 and 26th in 2023. So last year was the first year they've ever been good and not had a good defense, efficiency wise. Because so 101 defensive efficiency is the third worst that it's been with Brad, and that's what they were last year.
the year that they were, what'd you say they were 7th? Was it 21?
Yeah, they were 8th
That
in
was
offense.
the year that he changed his defense.
That was the year they
stopped
one
going from the
year.
Try to pick everything, and
So
that's where they kind of settled in on defense.
The only 2 years that were worse in defensive efficiency than last year, they won 14 games and 12 games. And last year there was the third worst and they won 29. So that was the most. So you just got to have an elite offense. You just got to be third in the country in offense. Okay, I got the list.
All right.
We'll go from 12 to 1.
Hold on, let me write this down so I can.
It's really hard to do.
It's got to be. Sure.
I'm sure there's some that people are going to hate.
Got it.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Number 12 is maybe unfair, but you know what? I'm going to reverse. No, okay. Jack Stiles. Jason Jacksties.
Okay.
Who's barely
is he redshirting?
I don't know. We should probably know that. Number 11.
I don't think they've said.
Jake Davis, number 11. Good player.
Okay.
Number 10, Ty Rogers. Not the most talented ball player.
Wow.
Number 9, Jeffrey, shout out. Trey White.
Wow.
Number 8, a much more skilled and will be a much more successful player at the next level, Ben Humrichus. Humricious. What number am I on? 8?
1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. You're on 7?
DGL, 7.
Where do you have Booth at?
Give it time. Boswell, next, 6th. 5th, Merez Johnson. 4th, Kerry Booth.
That's insane.
Very talented ball player. Very talented.
Insane.
Him and Merez might be a toss-up. I could reverse that. 3rd is Ivisic. Very talented, skilled, fundamental ball player. 2 is, this is controversial, okay? People are going to be like, wow, why would you do this? Will Riley, 2.
Okay.
And Casper is 1. That was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Okay, so if you went by talent only, you're saying that the starting lineup would be Kasparis, Riley, Tomislav, Booth, and Merez Johnson.
That's why we don't go by talent only. I'm just saying that the most talented player on the team should start. The 2 most talented players on the team should start when the season begins.
When do you think when do you think Tomislav actually gets to play?
Game 1, he'll be there. Game 1.
Really? You think?
I have no idea. I don't even know what's going on.
His brother was like January, right?
Yeah, he'll be. He's already here though. He'll be. Right? Yeah.
I don't know. Brad seems to not be very specific on it. So
well, Humrick House, small ball 5. Let's do it. They got the size to get away with that. I mean, they're going to get slaughtered by other teams' 5s, but how many teams in the country that are good have good 5s?
Yeah, I mean, Brad wants to play a different type of offense.
If you start the season,
he's very clear that he wants to spread them out, and I think that's probably why their defensive numbers aren't as good, just because they didn't have a big 5 last year that, except for Dane Danger, that Brad would never play. So
I'm also not sure this team has a ton of individual good defenders. I'm not sure about that yet. The way it sounds, I think their lineup on the first night of the season might be Boswell, Rogers, White, Riley, and Humrick. Like that might end up being their lineup in the first game.
Why do you rank Humrick House that low?
I don't really think he's like an elite talent. I just think he's a good player, and he's white.
I think he's going to be I think really good college player.
I think he'll be a good NBA player.
Okay.
I'm more confident in him almost over like almost anybody outside the top two.
I mean, is this potential? Like, are you going off potential or right here, right now?
It's a mix of both. If you're talking about talent,
okay.
Like Ty Rodgers is a good, solid basketball player, but he's not like an elite talent. Like he's not. You have to be an offensive like creator and scorer and good shooter to be an elite talent. And I think DGL I probably underrated a little bit. I think DGL might be more talented than Boswell. I'm not sure about that quite yet, but the athleticism and the tenaciousness that DGL has shown will obviously earn him playing time. But I think at least 10 of these 12 guys play this season for sure. Like Jake Davis might mix in a little bit. But the rotation definitely feels like it's shrunk already. Are we missing anybody on this list? Did I write everybody down? I don't think I missed anybody.
Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't write down Ashton Kutcher or AJ Red, who is I still can't believe somebody had a comment in that stupid Facebook group about AJ Red being in the rotation. Like, what an insane thing to say. It's that same guy who every time he makes a dumb comment and people go after him, it's like, oh, we're just here to have fun, guys. Oh. Don't say anything that's stupid then nobody's going to come after you.
We got a Boswell is an awesome on-ball defender. We have a DGL is a good on-ball defender, and a Boswell is greater than DGL in the comments.
Well, yeah, he's much better than DGL right now, I would think. We'll get to that. Anyway, moving along, right? Enough of this.
Yeah. That's all I have for media days.
Thank
Brad
God.
was on College Hoops today with John Rothstein.
Oh, terrific guy.
I can't stand how he calls colleges brands, by the way, but here we go.
Boy, what a terrible thing to say.
Brad, once again, said that he was really excited about this group. He talked about how they were older last year and they're going to be a different team. He said, quote, we went out and signed some next level guys that will play in the NBA. I feel really confident about our balance. We can't use youth as an excuse. We have a good amount of freshmen, but they are talented. So he also said that he loves the character and the makeup of the team.
Is there any Matthew Myers in the team is what should have been asked. Who do you think would be the favorite for that?
Who's Matthew Myers right now?
That's not his name, but okay.
Matthew Meyer.
Could Humrickhouse be like that?
I don't think so. Seems too humble.
We didn't think Meyer would be like that entirely.
I mean, you rock a mullet. You're kind of that guy, right? I think Trey White could be that guy, to be honest with you.
Really? Well, that's a good. Yeah.
I think Brad is talking him up so much that if his time gets cut, he's going to be he's going to be not very happy.
And he'll be thinking, "Oh, it's my time. Oh, here we go. It's my here we go. It's me."
Yeah. And then John, of course, asked about next level guys or whatever. He said Kasparis is a guy. We have had everybody in the league here at some point to see him. Will Riley, Tomislav has been very, very good, an exceptional shooter. He was 5 of 7 in a scrimmage from 3 one day. He talks about Merez Johnson and how he hasn't seen anyone like him that can get in and out of screens, and how athletic he is. Ben Humrickhouse is probably their best shooter, he said. And Trey White has probably been our most consistent player. I think we potentially have 4 or 5 guys that could be playing at the next level. What is Tim Hanks doing? Can you calm him down?
Tim, take it down a notch here. Just casually send a text here real quick. Anyway.
QC Mark says, I'm glad Ty and DGL hung in there. They seem extremely positive about the program when they just as easily could have transferred and gave cryptic negative quotes. I agree. I think Ty Rodgers is a Brad Underwood guy. There's been talk that like he has kind of been the leader and telling guys, how Brad is, like this, he just wants the best for us. Like you just gotta go through it. So did you just text him and tell him to stop?
No, but I told him just now. So
Jeffrey says, so why did we argue all last year when Dane brought just as much to the offense and defense as Ty did?
Dane wasn't good. That's another factor. It just the entire argument was basically this team was for the most of the season outside of the Big Ten tournament, the NCAA tournament, where Dane shined.
Yeah.
This team was better when Dane was not on the floor during the regular season. It's just in Big Ten play. It's what happened. And Brad never goes to Dane as much as he did if Dane didn't do what he did in that Ohio State game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Brad was asked by John how deep the rotation would be. This is, I mean, I feel like every year we're like, oh, yeah, Illinois is going to go 9-10 deep. This year they actually could. Brad said, quote, that's a good question. I think we have the potential to be pretty deep. A lot of people say that every year and it winds down a little bit, but I think we are a team that truly has some depth. I don't think we have a big drop off in scoring, which is the one thing last year that when we went to our bench, that's what happened. So everybody can score on this team. He compared the team to UConn last year and how deep their bench was. He was asked about the international prospects and Kasparis and Tomislav. He said that he feels great about them. We have been very specific when we recruit. We want positional size and shooting. We can be one of the biggest teams in the country with our lineups. So, Illinois, what'd you say Illinois was height-wise?
6'7", tied with Purdue. Top of the Big Ten.
Pretty good.
Last year's average height was like some crazy. It was wild. 78.8. I don't know what that is. 78.8 height. 78.8. That's just over 6'5".
Are you trying to do math?
Yeah. Nailed it.
Philip says, I'm still convinced Ty will be serviceable 3-point shooter this year, 30 to 33%. It's interesting you say that because Brad was then asked about Ty Rodgers. Brad said that he shot 100,000 jump shots in the summer. Hundreds of thousands is actually what he said. So he said that his jump shot, of course, is much better. Called him a Swiss Army knife and can play any position. He is better in the open court than he was last year, which I think that was a big problem is, Ty running the point, which of course got passed off to Marcus Damask down the road, is that when he was in the open court, it seemed like he turned the ball over a lot. This year, I mean, with Kasparis and Boswell, I don't know if Ty's ever going to have to worry about that. And then Brad commented on that and said his confidence level is up because his role is different this year. So Ty Rodgers has to start, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how he
have
does
to,
it.
but
He doesn't have to. Correct.
He will. Yeah, he will. All right, see you, Trey White. Why can't Trey White be the sixth man? I don't know why Brad has to be pushing this Trey White narrative.
What does that say?
I don't know.
Oh, people are saying Phil's on drugs. You guys don't think Ty Rodgers will shoot 30%?
I don't think it's that crazy.
I don't think it's that crazy. I don't know if he shoots more than 12 of them this year, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he's not going to shoot that many threes.
I think that's another part of it, yeah.
So, John asked him about identifying the lineup. He said, quote, I think we will find out roles. One thing I've always tried to do as a coach is make sure that guys that can score, we put them in the right opportunities. We'll figure out how to get the right guys the ball. We still have to figure out who can guard and who can do the other things. We definitely aren't as concrete as we were last year with Terrence and Coleman. Light on, light off. Internet out? What's going on? Oh, so Yeah, I mean, basically, I think he's saying it's not going to be a one-man show like it was last year with Terrence. But I feel like the team did okay without him when they had to. So
Can you do like a quick rundown of the rest of his comments? And then I want to talk about this
Yep.
this Big Ten thing that he talked about with Northwestern.
Yeah, he literally mentioned every guy on the team and how great they could be. And then he talked about playing better brands, and that he doesn't shy away from games. If he's playing in the Garden, he will play anybody there. It doesn't matter. He said that game will probably have an NCAA tournament feel. And they talked about the early trip in January to the West Coast. That's right. And how that could be a benefit. But Brad again talks about how good the Big Ten is, and he said that somebody had Northwestern 15th, and he said if that's true, then 15 teams are going to the tournament. Go ahead.
That is like, okay, relax. I know you want to talk good about the league, Brad, but come on. There's no way, right? The numbers obviously changed with 4 teams being added. Like they could maybe get 12 or 13.
Yeah. He said that about Northwestern. Then he said he thinks that it's a 10, 11, 12 bid league.
So he's basically saying Northwestern stinks, and he'd be right. November 5th, Tim, or November 4th, or one of those 2 days. Look it up. Jesus. Yeah. Just a typical Brad comment of like, oh, Northwestern's 15th in one of the Big Ten polls, and we're getting 15 or 16 teams in. There's no way they're going to miss. Northwestern, geez, they've never missed a tournament ever.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously 15's insane, but yeah, Northwestern, I don't know if they'll be that good, but I don't know if the all Big Ten team got put out, or we're talking about that later. I don't even know. So Illinois didn't have anybody, basically.
Their ceiling is higher than any team he's ever had.
Yep. He did say that it's the highest ceiling of any team.
Can we do something? This is going
said that the defense is going to be a big factor in how high their ceiling is, which I don't know.
Can we do something with like this might make fans upset, and it might make us upset, but like this team, they're not winning a national championship, right? Probably not. Very unlikely. Probably like a 0% chance. But
I mean, yeah, I don't.
I don't want to do it. I hate to say it, but I just don't.
That's fine.
That's
insane because yesterday you told me.
Yeah, relax. That's just something you say. People get excited.
Ethan thinks this is a 2-loss team, by the way. That's what he told me yesterday.
They won't win the national championship, though. I don't care what the record is.
That's
unfortunate. I can't see this team winning a national championship. But crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I even felt the need to say that. I apologize to everybody.
I don't know. I just don't know what this team is. I think David has a good point. He says, talk about the implications of not knowing who your starting 5 will be. I think that is a problem. Is I don't know if Brad has a solid 5. And I don't know how many different starting lineups we see with this team. If Brad will switch it up until he figures it out. It sounds like he doesn't know what he's going to do yet. And we're less than a month away from the season. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
But
all right, Brandon Lee's coming to Illinois, shooting guard.
We're already way past your 20 minutes.
Yeah, let's get
what
this
were we
going.
doing? 30 minutes? How long was this supposed to be?
Number 98,
I think will
nationally.
be pretty good as Rugers. Can you make fun of Tim for me? Thanks.
Tim, you forgot the T. We talked about him visiting, 98 national, number 1 player in New Jersey, Antigua, Puerto Rican connection. Quote, I've known Orlando since I was born. My dad is actually Nope. My dad actually coached him when he was playing professionally. I've known him. He's known my brother, Matthew Lee. My brother actually beat them when Orlando was at Kentucky and he was at St. Peter's. I've known him for a while now.
Yeah.
He's a third leading scorer in the E-Bowl.
The Evil. Is that what it's called?
EYBL.
I think we talked about that. My thing about him, everybody talks about how good a shooter he is. He shot 27% from three in the EYBL. He shot 26% from three in the FIBA under 18. I mean, it seems like he's a 26% 3-point shooter.
I find it very hard to talk about the class 2025 right now.
I know that you hate it. You're the one that put him on here. I know you made the thumbnail.
We had to talk about him. I mean, you can't just avoid it. Other losers are talking about it.
He did score 22 points against USA. He went 8 for 20 that game with 5 rebounds. He does shoot 80% from the line. His father, Butch Lee, won Player of the Year in 1978 for Marquette, which makes his father as old as my father almost. And he's got a senior in high school, which is insane to me. So
it's not that crazy these days.
I mean, I wouldn't want to have a kid at 48.
You're 48?
No, Butch Lee had to be what, 40 something? 46? Anyways. Frank says good problem to have. Duke has had these problems since I can remember. I agree. Lazy Forrest Gump says it's going to be Boswell, Kasparis, Will Riley, Hummerhouse, Tomislav if he ever gets eligibility, Mary Jane, and Ty's a 6th man.
Tim, why are you calling me?
Who's MJ?
What? Michael
Am I
Jordan?
crazy? Does that not say MJ? Who's MJ? Am I crazy?
1, 2, 3. There's 5 players listed.
But he has a slash.
/MJ Ty.
Oh.
Ty's Michael Jordan. I don't know. By the way, Robert De Niro had a kid last year and he's 81. So
Merez Johnson. Okay.
That's a different level. Okay.
What?
Robert De Niro had a kid last year and he's 81.
Yeah, they're not real.
That's just cruel. That's cruel.
His stuff is frozen somewhere. He didn't make that baby.
They did something.
I don't think so. Thanks, guys. Merez Johnson, I got it.
Happened.
Okay, sorry.
Michael Johnson.
Anyways, around the Big Ten, Ethan wants to talk about the Big Ten.
We're not doing that. No, that's off.
We're not?
There's nothing to talk about with the Big Ten right now. The teams are going to be good. They're not going to be good.
Oh, do you guys want to know who made first team All Big Ten?
Oh, God. Why did I put that on there? Yes. It's all right. Go ahead.
Preseason basketball. Preseason player of the year. Braden Smith. I don't know if that's true. He was the only unanimous one. We got Ballo from Indiana, Peyton Sanford from the Hawkeyes, Dawson Garcia. He's still around. I thought he was like 40 by now. Brooks Barnheiser from Northwestern.
Woo! That's funny.
Bruce Thornton from Ohio State. Jackson Shelstad from your Ducks. Ace Baldwin Jr. from Penn State. Braden Smith, again, only unanimous Big Ten selection. Dylan Harper, #1 player coming into college. And Great Osibor from Washington.
You know what's crazy about Braden Smith is that this is a guy that got embarrassed by UConn's perimeter. Just embarrassed. Yet we still parade him around like he's the best point guard in the country. He's a very good player. He's good. But I find it troubling that we're just going to parade him around like the best player in the conference. That's not happening. There's a 0% chance Braden Smith is the best player in this conference this year.
I agree. 0. I did see that his numbers were better when Edey was off the court than on.
I don't care. He's going to get annihilated.
Uncensored says, I met Brandon Lieb the other day and he was salty Brandon Lee was committing. Hey, I agree. He should be salty. He also asked what the F we're on, which is
drugs.
All the drugs. Anyways,
Yep. All right. Thank God.
You guys got anything else you want to talk about? Ethan's getting fed up. We got another thing we're gonna do after this for you.
Oh, was that an actual interception? God damn fucking
Who's
Seahawks.
playing? Green Bay?
Seahawks Niners.
Oh.
You
got money on it. Smith is the most overhyped player ever. To be fair, everyone got embarrassed by UConn. That's true. Ballo is overrated. He's a less talented, worse stamina Kofi. Do you see that Illinois is looking into a guy that literally looks just like Kofi?
I did not see this. No. I apologize to everybody. Uncensored was surprised that we were on.
Oh, I thought you meant like we're on. We're actually finishing. So,
unfortunately for us, we have to do something after this. I guess, which we don't have to, but I guess we will.
You're ridiculous. You come up with all these grand plans.
That's me. That's what happens.
And then you back out. Like if I had a co-host with any ounce of ambition, we'd be bigger than Illini Inquirer.
Which is impressive that we've got an audience now that we've just mailed it in for 5 years.
That's true. That's true.
It's Twitter.
I think they just like my personality and you berating them all the time. So
I hope they do.
Preseason Player of the Year has only won the award about 20% of the time. They won it last year, though.
So, yeah. Well, we
shout out to Zach Edey playing in the NBA, doing things. Congratulations to him. Terrence Shannon Jr. had a great preseason game. Also,
Terrence Shannon Jr. plus 4,000 Rookie of the Year. I might bet it.
Attaboy.
A little worried about his teammate Dillingham, but anyway, we're doing a series. I put that one up there. Thank you.
I'm just leaving it up there.
I posted a series, or I didn't put. What am I talking about?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
We're doing a series on the players.
Yes.
We're doing an episode on the transfers. We're recording it after this.
Yes.
It's gonna be a YouTube premiere.
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow night or Saturday night or Sunday night, but it's going to be one of the next 3 nights. It'll be premiering. You can come in the chat while it's premiering. Probably 20-minute video, 25, 30.
Yeah, just like this was going to be 30 minutes, and we had just literally just ran through stuff.
That is the chat's fault. It's the chat's fault.
That's true.
So stay tuned.
That's
for
why.
that.
Hey, by the way, you guys are the reason that we're not doing it live because Ethan doesn't like you guys.
That's right.
He says you throw us off all the time.
That's right. So this will be a premiere. The last premiere we did was episode 200, one of the greatest episodes in the history of podcasting. And we'll do a video series in the transfers. We'll go transfers, then we'll go freshmen, then we'll go returners, and then we'll just put it all together. And hopefully, ideally, we're done with the entire series before the Ole Miss game at the end of the month.
That's the plan.
Maybe one this week, one next week, and then 2 the week after.
It's kind of like one of those things where it wasn't planned out well enough that we couldn't do one every week.
Poor planning from Tyler. He really messed it up.
Yep.
No accountability. That's a great point. All right. We'll be back with a podcast episode sometime in the near future. I've asked a couple guests to come on. We'll see what happens. I'll ask Rothstein as well while we're at it.
Yeah, why not? Show him that you bought a shirt.
I don't want him to unfollow me. Never mind.
Be like, bro, I bought your shirt.
He wouldn't like me calling him bro, I don't think. All right, we'll be back with
Guy says brands all the time. Hold on. Like, comment, subscribe, boost the numbers, do everything you got to do. The season's upon us soon. So if you like it, and comment and do all that stuff after we post this, it actually gets put in the algorithm, is what all the big YouTubers say.
27-10 Ohio State is my prediction overall.
You just changed it, didn't you?
I said 27-10 the whole time.
Oh, okay.
All right. Be back in another episode soon, and we'll do the series. It'll come out one of the next 3 days. Goodbye.